Tonight on News 3 Now, a Dane County man is facing charges connected to the abduction of a teenager from Tennessee.
And Ho Chunk Gaming is making a pitch to the city to expand its operation in Madison. A look at what is included in this proposal.
Plus, some incredible video out of Milwaukee. A city bus driver is being recognized for what he did after witnessing this rollover crash.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
And thanks for joining us tonight. After a few days of much-needed warmer weather, reality is about to set back in.
It sure is. The cold will be returning in the coming days, and so will some precipitation. The main question now is what form of precipitation will it be?
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us now with a look at our first alert forecast. Gary?
Well, that is a good question. We could see snow, we could see some freezing rain, we could also see some rain as well. So it could be slick around here, especially later tomorrow night and then again on Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Now on Doppler track, things pretty quiet around here. Some showers early this morning have pushed off to the east. The next weather system kind of staying up to the north, but eventually we'll look for some precipitation out of that. So things very quiet right now. Temperatures, though, are falling. In fact, we started out in the middle 40s this morning. Temperatures have already dropped about 20 degrees into the middle 20s. We're seeing temperatures in the teens where skies have started to turn partly cloudy over the western parts of our viewing area. And future track shows the potential for a couple of inches of snow for the next couple of weather systems, mainly in the northern parts of our viewing area, but more importantly, the possibility for some freezing rain with at least a little bit of ice accumulation tomorrow night and then again Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. Winter weather advisories have been issued from 6 p.m. tomorrow night until 6 a.m. on Wednesday morning, pretty much for the central and eastern portions of our viewing area, including Madison, eastward toward Milwaukee. Otherwise, look for temperatures to drop off into the lower to middle teens by morning. Then skies will turn cloudy tomorrow. The rain and snow probably won't reach us until late in the day. High temperature topping out at 28 degrees. That's your News 3 Now first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. Northern Wisconsin and parts of the UP and Minnesota woke up to some dangerous travel conditions. An ice and sleet storm made travel nearly impossible for some and led to multiple school closures. The State Department of Transportation was advising not to travel in and around the Tomahawk, Minocqua, Rhinelander, and Eagle River areas because of significant ice accumulations. A case out of Tennessee we first told you about last week is continuing to evolve.
And today, a man from Madison was charged in federal court in connection to it. News 3's Amy Reed joins us in studio to tell us more about how he was possibly involved here. Amy?
You might remember last week when we told you about a missing girl from Tennessee that was found here in Wisconsin. At the time, we didn't know her connection to the area, but this charge today filled us in.
Sir, do you mind just saying a couple things about the case right now?
The defense had no comment today following Brian David Rogers' first appearance in federal court. 31-year-old Rogers is charged with producing child pornography after his alleged communication with a 14-year-old girl who was found in Wisconsin last week.
Usually we locate them within 24 to 48 hours.
The girl, who we are not naming, was missing for months from her Tennessee home. But today in court, the prosecution said Rogers picked her up and took her back to Madison. She's now back in Tennessee. Investigators tracked Rogers and the girl's communication and said it started through the game Roblox. This online multiplayer gaming platform allows players to chat with one another. Court documents allege this is where the girl told Rogers she was being sexually assaulted, to which Rogers allegedly told her to film it and send it to him. The prosecution confirmed this is the same video that was found on the girl's phone and was used to charge her stepfather with rape.
Talk to the prosecutor. She's in control of the charges.
In court, the prosecution said they're considering adding additional charges through the grand jury, which the defense could not comment on. The potential additional charges would be for transporting a person across state lines for sexual activity, which carries a mandatory minimum of 10 years in prison if convicted. As it stands now, if Rogers is convicted solely of production of child pornography, he'd be imprisoned for a minimum of 15 years.
Rogers is being held in Dane County now. This case has another hearing this week, and Rogers will continue to be held at least until then.
Madison police have released a new surveillance photo of a man they believe randomly attacked a woman on Langdon Street downtown early yesterday morning. Happened about 3:20 a.m. This was near the intersection of Langdon and Carroll Streets. Police released the photo in hopes of identifying the suspect. The victim was brought to the hospital for for treatment. The ride-sharing service Lyft is calling sexual assault allegations against one of its drivers, quote, deeply disturbing.
Police arrested 28-year-old Hassan Ahmed yesterday. Officers say a 25-year-old woman used the Lyft app to get a safe ride home just before 2 a.m. Sunday. The driver got out of the car and convinced her to let him inside her apartment by asking to use her bathroom. The woman told police that once he was inside, he sexually assaulted her. Officials with Lyft say they do not tolerate this behavior, and Ahmed has been deactivated. A Milwaukee County Transit System bus driver is being recognized for his actions back in November. The driver, Shannon Johnson, saw a rollover crash as it happened. Bus surveillance video shows the SUV flip over and come to a stop on its side. While a dispatcher contacted police, Johnson jumped out of his bus and ran toward the smoking car. Johnson and other witnesses worked together to pry a door open. The driver got out of the car moments before paramedics arrived on the scene. No one was seriously hurt in this crash.
NTSB investigators are in Orange County, California tonight, trying to figure out what caused the plane to crash into a home, killing 5 people. Police say the pilot and all 4 people who were inside that home were killed. The NTSB says the 1981 twin-engine Cessna took off around 1:30 yesterday afternoon. It had traveled about 10 miles when something went horribly wrong. Witnesses say the plane broke apart midair before the crash. The pilot was identified today as a former Chicago police officer. The remaining victims have not yet been identified. After years of planning, Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison is officially submitting its plan for expansion to city officials.
The project is expected to bring more visitors and money into our area. Keely Arthur is live outside of the casino to share what's ahead. Keely?
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison will officially announce its plans to the city February 13th. It includes a major renovation to the facility behind me and, among other things, an homage to the tribe's history here.
I want to say it was built in 1995.
Since then, Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison has gone through some changes.
And behind me, you can see this used to be a paper bingo hall.
But nothing like what is being proposed right now.
We're trying to create an entertainment district, which will include expansion of our casino floor to about 145,000 square feet, a hotel room between 150 and 250 rooms, a conference center, about a 15,000 square foot conference center that'll act also as an entertainment center.
Dan Brown, the executive manager of Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, says the project costs in the tens of millions. It needs approval from the Ho-Chunk legislature as well as the city of Madison, a relationship Brown says the tribe has been fostering for years.
The whole theme behind our planning has been collaboration. We want to make sure that what we do is going to be a value add to the city, to the county, to the region.
Brown believes additional value and draw will come from the Heritage Center, a piece of the proposal highlighting Ho-Chunk's 11,000-year history in the region.
What we hope to focus on is telling our history. So not a museum per se, but more of something that is experiential tourism.
With this proposal comes more people. Currently, there is only one access point into the casino from US 1218, something that will likely need to change in order for the plan to become a reality.
With the rest of the state, you know, it's an issue of funding, but we're hopeful that at some point that all of us can come together with a solution to provide for a much safer and a better way of access.
Now, groundbreaking for this project could happen as early as 2020. However, if the casino down in Beloit finally gets its approval, this project could take a step back. Back to you.
Keely Arthur reporting tonight. Keely, thank you. The Madison Fire Department is looking for a good Samaritan who is being credited with saving their neighbor's life during a fire last Wednesday on Buckeye Road. The resident awoke early that morning to the sound of someone pounding on his front door. Officials say the homeowner grabbed some essential items before running to safety. About 90 seconds after being alerted to the fire, the man's ceiling caved in. Investigators believe the anonymous passerby saved the homeowner's life and his pets.
The Platteville Fire Department is learning to cope with the loss of one of its own. One of the volunteer firefighters took his own life last week. Tim Ebert had been volunteering since the fall of 2017. He was also a student at UW-Platteville looking to start a career in law enforcement. While we don't know the reason behind his decision to end his own life, the fire chief says that really doesn't matter. What does matter now is how to prevent this from happening in the future.
It just makes you think, you know, do we talk about it enough? You know, and we probably don't. You know, we just all think we're rough, tough firefighters that can everything bounce off our skin, but you know, it doesn't.
If you or someone you know needs help or someone to talk to, the number on your screen is for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, and that number 1-800-273-8255. The UW campus cleaning up now after 28 buildings suffered damage from pipes bursting over the past few days. The worst of it happened at Vilas Hall and the chemistry building, forcing 180 classes to be relocated both today and tomorrow. Those relocations are expected to continue beyond Tuesday, and students, faculty, and staff will all be notified directly via email with any changes.
University of Wisconsin Regents are poised to raise graduate tuition at 8 schools. Those hikes would be at Eau Claire, Green Bay, La Crosse, Oshkosh, Parkside, Stevens Point, Stout, and Whitewater. The Regents Education Committee is set to vote on the plans Thursday, with the full board set to vote on Friday. President Trump spent today working on his second State of the Union address. He will deliver it tomorrow, 1 week later than originally planned. Tonight, federal prosecutors in New York have issued a subpoena seeking documents from the president's inaugural committee. A spokeswoman says the committee intends to cooperate with the inquiry. She said the committee received the subpoena late tonight and is currently reviewing it. 5 unions and a state Democratic senator have filed another lawsuit challenging measures Wisconsin Republicans approved in the controversial lame duck session. That lawsuit was filed today in Madison and is the third now to challenge the laws. They argue the laws violate the separation of powers doctrine in the Wisconsin Constitution and will cost taxpayers as lawmakers hire private attorneys to fight lawsuits. Still to come tonight, your full forecast with a closer look at the upcoming alert days this week.
Plus, that warmer weather means another setback for the ice castles in Lake Geneva. We'll have an update when we come back. You're watching News 3 Now. Valentine's Day is just a little over a week away. The National Retail Federation says only 51% of adults plan to celebrate. Spending for the holiday is still on the rise, with Americans planning to spend an average of $162 on their loved ones. Sales are expected to top $20 billion this year. It has been a tough go for the Lake Geneva ice castles this season, closed again now due to the recent warm weather. They first opened late this year because of the rain we had in December and January, only opening a couple of weeks ago. They were then forced to close again because of the bitter cold last week. Now with this dramatic warm-up, they are closed for a third time today and tomorrow. Staff members are still hopeful they'll reopen and then stay open for the next couple of weeks. A portion of the roof at the Grand Geneva Resort in Lake Geneva collapsed overnight. Officials say it was caused by the heavy snow. They say no one was in the building at the time, so no one was hurt.
After being displaced for more than 5 months due to last August flooding, a local salon is back in business at its permanent location. A new reopened today on Deming Way after working out of temporary locations for several months. The flooding damage was isolated to the basement, affecting electrical and other components necessary for salon operations. A pair of birthday celebrations at the Henry Vilas Zoo today. A special under-the-sea themed party was thrown for Datu and Kawan, two of the 3 Bornean orangutans. Datu just turned 15 last week, and Kawan will turn 18 on Thursday. Bornean orangutans have a lifespan of 35 to 45 years old, but when they are in captivity, they can live to be 60. And as we mentioned earlier in the show, parts of northern Wisconsin and Minnesota were hit with some icy conditions this morning, but it wasn't all bad news. This is in Almena, Wisconsin, in Barron County, which is about an hour north of Eau Claire. So how often can you say you were able to ice skate right on the road?
Well, Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joining us now. And if you're on the roads tonight, Gary, in some spots you could perhaps skate, start to ice over.
I hit a spot right over by Maple Grove Road in Putnam on Madison's west side where the water had been draining, from the rain, and that now it's frozen over. But we have the potential for some freezing rain and snow over the next couple of days that could lead to a little more widespread travel problems. We have alert days in the forecast for tomorrow night, late tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night for light snow and light freezing rain that could bring some minor snow and ice accumulations. That will end early on Wednesday morning. Then another round of mixed precipitation beginning late Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night, and then changing over to snow early in the day on Thursday, and that could bring not only some ice accumulations, but some snow accumulations, especially to the north of Madison. Now, winter weather advisories for the first round of precipitation have been issued for tomorrow evening through early on Wednesday morning, 6 p.m. Tomorrow evening through 6 a.m. Wednesday morning for south central and southeastern Wisconsin, as well as parts of northern Illinois and eastern Iowa. Also, the threat for some accumulating snow up toward the Twin Cities and back to the west of there, they have wind chill advisories again in effect for bitterly cold air. Now, the first round of snow, this is through Wednesday afternoon, bringing the potential for a couple of inches of snow to the north of Madison. Then the second round of snow Wednesday night into Thursday and Friday could bring a major winter storm to northwestern Wisconsin and parts of eastern Minnesota, whereas we'll probably miss out on that. What we won't miss out, though, is the freezing rain. The first batch, a couple 1/100ths of an inch of freezing rain, enough to make roads and sidewalks slippery, and then another round with similar amounts for Wednesday night into early Thursday morning before that changes over to all snow. Now, tonight, the Edgewater Skycam, not as foggy as it was at this time yesterday, but still, skies are cloudy. We're seeing some breaks in the clouds from time to time. High today, 45 degrees, but our low of 24 is also the current temperature. Skies are still mostly cloudy in Madison. The wind chill is at 16, winds out of the west-northwest at 7 miles per hour. As we look at current temperatures, you can see still a pretty big contrast. 32 in Chicago, 9 below zero in Fargo, North Dakota. Those bitterly cold temperatures will stay just to our north over the next few days. It's kind of right behind the jet stream. The main part of the storm, or at least the storm from yesterday, has shifted off to the east. Now it's the next part of the storm, already some snow that will eventually start mixing with some freezing rain as it heads in our direction for tomorrow night into early on Wednesday morning. And then another system behind that, that'll be in here for Wednesday night into Thursday. Surface weather map, you can see a low pressure system over Wyoming. That will scoot eastward, and it'll be on the dividing line between temperatures that are bitterly cold up to the north, readings below zero, to temperatures that are unseasonably mild to the south. It's still in the 60s on the other side of the Ohio River. And as we take a look at future track, you can see how the next batch of precipitation comes in tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night, and then moves out of here for the day on Wednesday. So much of the day Wednesday will be dry. Then here comes the next batch of precipitation precipitation. And again, you can see that freezing rain right over parts of southern Wisconsin before early on Thursday morning it starts changing over to a little bit of snow as the colder part of the storm gradually works its way through the Midwest. So our forecast calls for that winter weather advisory in effect until from 6 p.m. tomorrow night until 6 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Look for a low temperature tonight of about 16 degrees. The skies turn partly cloudy. For tomorrow, look for a high temperature of 28. It'll be dry for much of the day, but we could see some light rain or snow freezing rain or snow late in the day. On future track, quiet for tonight. Tomorrow, those temperatures get into the 20s, and then notice how we drop back tomorrow night. And then as we head into the day on Wednesday, the next batch of precipitation comes on through. And again, that could be in the form of freezing rain and snow. As we look at the 10-day forecast, you can see those temperatures getting a little cold, in fact, down to 3 below zero by Saturday morning. After that, we're back up into the 20s as we head toward the Valentine's Day holiday. There'll also be some periods of snow, perhaps Sunday and then Monday night into Tuesday of next week. That could bring some accumulating snow chances there, too. So still a little more winter to go here.
I believe we do. Thank you, Gary.
Sure. Thanks, Gary. Badger men's basketball team keeps rising in the national rankings, and we will hear from head coach Greg Gard just ahead in sports.
Badger men's basketball team jumps 5 spots up to 19th in today's Associated Press rankings. The Badgers are at Minnesota Wednesday night at 8. The Big Ten men's basketball standings are crazy. Michigan, Michigan State, and Purdue all tied for first, and the Badgers only a game behind at 8-3. With 9 games left in the regular season, anything can happen.
And you think Indiana loses 7 in a row, and the last place they would go to break that streak would be at Michigan State, but they went in and played really well. So I don't think anybody's safe at home or road against anybody. It's just any night, anything can happen, and that's been a cliche, but I think this year it's really proven true in terms of how competitive from 1 to 14 teams have been.
Saturday night at the Kohl Center will be special. Before the men's hockey game against Ohio State, the number 10 of Mark Johnson will be retired. It'll be the first time a Badger hockey number has been retired. Johnson is the second leading scorer in Wisconsin men's hockey history with 125 goals on 131 points, or assists rather, in 125 games. That's an average of over 2 points per game. Always humble, Johnson appreciates the honor.
Hockey's been good. It's been good to me. It's been good to my family. It's been good to my kids. And, I just very much appreciated the opportunities I've had, whether it's here at Wisconsin as a player, as an assistant coach on the men's side, and for the last, good chunk of time being an opportunity to run my own program and be involved with the women's program and watch that grow.
TV ratings for the Super Bowl were the lowest in 11 years, but that doesn't bother the New England Patriots. Former Badger James White is a Super Bowl champion for the 3rd time. White wasn't much of a factor in yesterday's 13-3 Patriots win over the Rams. This was his only reception for 5 yards. He had only 2 carries for 4 yards. But White still got to kiss the Lombardi Trophy again.
They're all awesome, no matter how we win it. It doesn't have to be pretty. As long as you win the football game, you never know how these type of games are to go. It's just an awesome feeling for my teammates. We have a great locker room that sit together no matter what, and it's just pretty cool. People may have doubted us in the beginning of the season, the middle of the season. But we just stood together, know what we were capable of as a team in our locker room, just kept working.
Here are the early odds in Las Vegas to win next year's Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs, the favorites at 6-1. The Rams, Saints, and Patriots right behind. The Bears are 14-1 to win the Super Bowl, just ahead of the Packers. The Bucks' Giannis Antetokounmpo is the Eastern Conference Player of the Week for the 2nd straight week and the 6th time this season. Bucks at Brooklyn, and Giannis starts this week just off right with just missing a triple-double, 30 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists. Brook Lopez just kept hitting threes. Bucks finish off the 5-game road trip 4-1. Final score was Bucks 113, Nets 94. Tomorrow night, the Prep Mania game of the week is girls basketball in the Badgers South Conference. Monona Grove in first place, Monroe is in second. Iowa recruit McKenna Warnock leads the Silver Eagles. Wisconsin recruit Sidney Hilliard leads the Cheesemakers. We're live at 7:15 tomorrow night from Monona Grove, and we'll be right back.
Gary's here with the final check of your forecast.
Temperatures continue to drop. It's a little chilly out there if you haven't been outside. 24 right now in Madison. Temperatures are in the teens out to our west. Winter weather advisory from 6 p.m. tomorrow evening through 6 a.m. Wednesday morning for some freezing rain and snow, and then more freezing rain and snow chances Wednesday night into Thursday. Cold for the end of the week, and then some snow chances next week.
All right, Gary, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us on News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.